YouTubers, Max18363 here, and this is part 16 of my narrated Quake 4 playthrough. So it's been a little while since the last Quake 4 vid, so I don't know, just quickly recap if you recall in the last video. We're in Strogg Medical Facilities now, of course, and we were basically captured and, or you could say tortured, as we were put through a rather gruesome and very suggestive scene. Which we were basically Stroggified. That's why we're able to use Strogg health stations now and have a little more health, can move a little quicker, and so on and so on. That was in the previous vid, and it was, yeah, probably, I suppose you could say one of the highlights of this game. I suppose it's certainly one of the more memorable scenes. It just made me cringe the first time I watched through it. But just before the neuro chip or whatever was switched on there for completing the Stroggification, Rhino Squad turned up and saved the day, so we're only part Strogg. As is to be expected, we of course get separated from our team, and basically they're dropping like flies. And you'll see shortly in this video that we're basically just sent on a full-scale retreat, as the war's kind of starting to turn against the Marines a little bit now, most definitely. Kind of have our backs to the wall, in retreat mode. That actually wasn't a checkpoint, that was just me quick saving, just in case I fell off that ledge there. Just thought I'd point that out. Tell you, dealing with those strokes is so much easier when you've got a great big bloody rocket launcher. So yeah, I don't really have a great deal to say in this video, to be honest. Partially because I'll be honest, I'm feeling pretty tired today, didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I haven't really got my head switched on.
Kane, is that you? Oh, this section caved in. I'm not sure where the rest of the squad is. My comm link is damaged. Find your way around this mess and we'll figure out a way to get out of here.
I always think it's a bit of a stretch to call this place a medical facility. Given the blood-smeared walls and floors and... could certainly do with a bit of a cleaning, that's for sure. think I've mentioned before as well how, for me, the game kind of takes a bit of a downward spiral from pretty much this point onwards now. The game, for me personally, becomes a little less enjoyable now because we're just sort of on our own all the time now, and it just gets more and more generic. I mean, we've got another kind of vehicle section coming up soon, and then there's another kind of on-the-rail shooter section later, and it just becomes very generic. There's some really ridiculous boss fights as well that we need to deal with later. I don't know. I think Quake 4 gets off to a very good start. I thoroughly enjoy the early levels, but from this point onwards, it just doesn't do it for me. Right, here's our man boss.
Damn, Kane, it's good to see you. I knew you could handle yourself in tough situations, but you've really gone above and beyond. When we heard you and Strauss were missing at the hub, we assumed you'd been killed. It's sheer luck we found you in the medical labs. Don't worry, we'll get you back to that.
Deliver new prisoners to prototype testing and assembly.
That's one of those cases where I was just saying, for goodness sake, go and just die already. I don't know why it took 6 shots to kill that guy. Sometimes that's just how it goes. So yeah. It's not to say that it's all bad from here, but definitely for me the better parts of the game are the
This is Command HQ to all units. A full retreat has been ordered. All squads are to meet at the waste facility for immediate evac.
And there you have it, we're now in retreat mode. So we're basically tracking towards this waste facility now to get to the rendezvous with whatever's left of the Marines. So I suppose if you want to try and have some kind of story where basically on the back foot now the Marines are on the retreat in fallback mode. The Stroggs are starting to fight back. But yeah, this game really does have some ridiculous boss fights. I mean, the little spider, I can't really remember the proper names. I can't really remember the proper names, but the little spidery things that we fought kinda not that long ago, really don't have my head switched on. Whatever they're called, we fought, I mean, you know, they're not so bad, but some of the boss fights, it's kinda strange because it's like, they're not particularly clever, but they've got a health bar over their head, and they deal like massive damage, and so it just makes it really bloody annoying. Boss fights really are just a bugbear of mine. That is some lethal gas, by the way. And I really don't know why so many games insist on ending their games with really stupid boss fights. That's why, I mean, I've recently just finished sort of the original Fear, and I found that so refreshing that when they ended the game without using a boss, I just thought it was such a refreshing ending. Yeah, it was just something a little different, wasn't it? That's why I liked it so much. nice when developers try something just a little bit different. I think the worst boss fight I've ever dealt with is probably at the end of the first Half-Life. That big giant floating baby thing right at the end of the game. Oh my god, I hate that. Maybe you could write in and tell me what the worst boss fight you've ever encountered is. For me it's the end of Half-Life 1, that's my worst. What's your worst? Leave a little comment or something, let me know. I don't know, do you like boss fights? Do you think it's a good way to end the game? I suppose it is if it's done right. I'll confess I did actually quite enjoy the boss fights in Resident Evil 4, for example. That's probably one of my favourite PlayStation 2 games. I loved that game, played that game like, I don't know how many times. But I actually really liked the boss fights in Resident Evil 4 because I do just something a little different about them, because more often than not it wasn't just a case of shoot until they die. There was always a little something that you had to figure out. Like with the El Gigante, you had to jump up on his back and hack at the little weak spot on his back, or you know, something like that. There was a weakness, there was something that you had to sort of try and figure out, and I found them really satisfying in Resident Evil 4. I quite liked those boss fights. Or the regenerators, you had to get your thermal vision scope and shoot the little leeches off them, and you could only see them with this thermal vision scope. You know, just stuff like that. I found that satisfying. I liked that. There's just something about this style of boss fight, well, you know, Quake 4 style of boss fights, or Doom 3 style of boss fights, it just doesn't do it for me. It's just circle strafe, rocket jump until they die, eventually. It just doesn't do it for me. I can't remember, we're about to fight another creature now, I really can't remember what he's called either. But he has the ability to teleport additional Stroggs into the area, and he can do this, I think, pretty much indefinitely until you take him out. That kind of dog-like creature there, you have to take him out as soon as possible, because otherwise he'll just teleport additional Stroggs in, and he can do this over and over, and it's just a pain in the ass. So as soon as you see one, just get the rockets into him. And I've run out of time, so till the next time, behave yourself, and yeah, take it easy.